So yeah, not really a book review, but I just finished in August 1914 by Alexander Solzhenitsyn. I actually read it about 10 years ago, but I had a bit of time on me, and so I fancied reading it again. And very, very enjoyable book. You know, the basic structure of it is that Russia have just entered the First World War after I think Germany invaded Serbia, and it's the I think the North Russian army advancing into Prussia to defeat the German troops in Prussia and then advance on the rest of Germany. And that campaign went disastrously wrong, basically. It had a very large and very brave, infantry and cavalry, grievously mismanaged by an incompetent chain of command from general up to the very top, up to the Tsar, the commander-in-chief. And so anyhow, the book begins with a bunch of kind of disparate characters from like village settings and stuff, just kind of talking about their lives and stuff. The war stories only kind of layered in throughout these stories. Then around about the 12th chapter, it's just straight into the campaign and the hapless General Samsonov directing three army. Well, it's about 30 odd corps, with a massive army descending on Prussia. And anyway, it all goes disastrously wrong, and the Russian troops are routed and absolutely killed in huge numbers and have to ignominiously retreat back into Russia. And then there's a lot of arse covering from the brass, basically. But towards the end of the book, the kind of the structure at the beginning of the book is deployed again, and we're now back to some random characters just on the cusp of the war. And one really interesting chapter was there's a bunch of female students, first year in the University of St. Petersburg, and they're all agog with excitement because there's a female professor starting in the college, and this is just completely out of the ordinary, and they all want to meet her. And it turns out that she's a history professor with a particular interest in the religious and spiritual beliefs of the medieval period that she's an expert in. And this is kind of outraging a lot of the students because they can't see the value of it, and they're replete with Enlightenment values. They're all about the French Revolution and the emancipation of the people, whoever the people are. That slippery concept that never seems to get defined when you hear revolutionary types shouting on. But anyway, so she's trying to explain her position, and the students, most of them bar one, just don't want to hear it at all. It's completely, what the hell has spirituality got to do with anything? As long as we live in a material world, deterministic, all we need to do is to get our quantities of material right and we'll be in utopia. I can't remember if this character reoccurs in November 1916, the next part of that trilogy of books. I think she does, but I think this chapter was kind of foreshadowing a denunciation of her later on, I think, because we're only 4 years away from the Bolsheviks taking power in this, or 3 years actually. So anyway, really the kind of chapter that 10 years ago when I read it just completely bypassed me. In fact, I probably skipped over it. Couldn't have seen the sense of this one at all, but just really eye-catching now as I read the book again. In fact, the chapter after it is also very interesting. It's told from the point of view of a very strict, domineering schoolmistress in Rostov-on-Don, which is the capital of the Don Cossack region of Russia, and described by Solzhenitsyn in the book as absolutely reflexively left liberal. And there's some very interesting little details in that chapter that I don't know whether Mr. Solzhenitsyn intended them, but they are quite interesting to know. But we're on YouTube, so let's not go down that particular rabbit hole anyway. out in Ballymile. Just done a loop of the big 5k loop and getting net by flies here, so I'm going to sign off. Thanks for listening.